Put some music on. What do you think this is, the funeral?
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to another episode of The Last Episode, where I, your host, Ja Lil Will, am judge and jury. My credentials are as follows. I have a podcast, an opinion, and I'm a grown-ass man. And that's all it takes. So let's go and have some fun and talk about Bad Batch. We're going to talk about Bad Batch today. And we're going to make some John Walker comparisons, just for, the sake of an argument that I had on the Twitterverse, with a couple of people who, just rode for John Walker super hard for some reason. So we're going to get into that, good soldier versus bad soldier and all that. Is Bad Batch good? Who's my favorite character? Things like that we're going to discuss. Now, we have two episodes. One that dropped on May 4th. May the 4th be with you, everybody. Celebrate. It was a great day. I watched that first Bad Batch episode. It was a great first episode. So, right off the bat, we talk about, is Bad Batch good? After that first episode, I was all in. I was like, this is extremely entertaining. I love these characters. The second episode was interesting too, and it was good. It was less good than the first episode, but that's okay. The first episode was like a banger, so it's okay to be like a slight step down from that as you're building the story. I don't know how many episodes of Bad Batch we're going to get, but you got to set the story up, and there's some interesting things going on, like Omega. Who is Omega? What is Omega's true purpose, right? Those are things that we need to know, and we'll talk about that. First, I want to just talk about how it started with the Order 66. Man, bruh, look, I kind of wish that we could have seen Clone Force 99 and Caleb in action together. If you remember, when the Order came through and the clones turned on the Jedi, they were just about to go off and complete a mission together, and I kind of wanted to see them in action. The introduction of Clone Force 99 is dope, and that's something that I'm going to start talking about more often when it comes to these new shows. The first appearance of the main characters, usually they show up in some cool fashion or interesting, intriguing fashion. The first time we saw Wanda and Vision in WandaVision was kind of weird and threw us off, and it was interesting the first time Bucky came through and Falcon came through. It was interesting, the fight scenes, the flying, all that good stuff, and the way that Clone Force 99 showed up, coming to the rescue when the Jedi and the Clone Forces were pinned down by the Separatist forces, and excuse me, little boy Caleb, the Padawan, came through and was like, I got the reinforcements. They're right behind me. And they're like, how many did you get? He's like, 5. They're like, what? We need more than that. He's like, no, you don't. And sure enough, they came through wrecking shop, and it was dope. So I thought that was a great intro for them. And it had me on board and intrigued right away to see, because these are clones. How much can they really do? Just 5 of them. A lot. The smarts, the tactician, the strength, the sniper, Crosshair, who I wanted to smack numerous times during the first episode. And it seems that Hunter has a soft spot for kids, doesn't it? The way that he treated Caleb when Order 66 came through, and then the way he's looking out for Omega through these first couple of episodes. It seems like he has an affinity for kids, which is cool and interesting for a clone. But, he's not a regular clone. They're not regular clones. They're a bad batch. Boys disrespectful in the mess hall calling them the sad batch. That was just disrespectful, and that's why he got his ass whooped. That was necessary. It had to happen because you have to put some fucking respect on the name. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like they should know. The other clones should know how skilled these dudes are. So why would you go around starting shit? You know, even the clones have egos, man. Even the regular clones have egos and shit like that. But anyway, within reason, okay? Within reason. This is an important phrase, okay? These two words, within reason. Following orders. Crosshair was saying a good soldier follows orders. Maybe to a certain extent, right? But I'm a man first, right? And the clones, they're generated in their clones, yes, but you know, they have feelings and a sense of right and wrong and shit like that. So you have to deal with that part too. Crosshair, obviously, a little different because his inhibitor chip was working, apparently. I mean, that's what it had to be, right? Was it that, or was he really just like that? Because they all seem to exhibit some form of independence, right? But so was that actually his chip, or is that really just how he feels? That, you know, a good soldier follows orders. Well, let's think about John Walker and the argument that I had with some of the people on Twitter. I made a tweet in response to one of the accounts, the MCU accounts tweets, about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And what I said was something along the lines of, to me, it didn't really feel like there was a villain, right? And a villain and an antagonist are two different things, right? The title and label of villain, to me, means that there's some sort of nefarious plot. You know, your intentions are nefarious and you're doing what you're doing, causing destruction, death, because you're trying to reach some. Either you don't care about life at all and you just want to murk and kill people, or you have some grand plan that's evil or something like that, right? And Carly and the Flag Smashers did not have a nefarious goal. So were they villains to me? No. Were they antagonists? Yes, I could. That's fair, you know. But what I said on the post exactly is that it didn't feel like there was an actual villain on the show. But if anything, remember those two words. If anything, it felt like John Walker was a villain because of how he kind of desecrated the ideal of you know, the Shield. You know, who literally and figuratively desecrated the Shield. And that to me is villainous enough because he has an ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted to be Captain America because he wanted everything that came along with being a Captain. He wanted the love and all that, you know, and the adulation and the power and all that came with it, because look at how quickly he started barking orders, right? So with Crosshair and talking about being a good soldier, because some people said that was part of the argument, that he was just doing what the government told him to do and becoming Captain America, and really he wasn't the bad guy. They said that he had PTSD and that the government should have known that, and they didn't, and they put him in that situation, and so it's their fault. They're the bad guys, not John Walker. He saw his best friend killed in front of him, and you know that just made him snap even more because of his PTSD. And I'm like, where did you get PTSD from? Where did you get it from? Right? And I understand nobody has to maybe come out directly and say John has PTSD, but I think that would have been actually better, because some soldiers would find it very offensive for people to just assume that because a person made some bad decisions that he has PTSD. You know, not all of them get it, and not all of them want it to be used as a crutch for one's bad decisions and shit like that. Someone even told me during this argument that he saw his best friend killed right in front of him. If that was you, you would have reacted the same way. Oh, okay, so if that's the case, does that mean I would have PTSD too? If I would react the same way that he did, if that's what you're trying to say, he had PTSD and that's why he was acting like. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense to me. He seemed fine most of the movie. He was just an asshole with an ego where the power was going to his head. He's barking orders and shit like that. I don't want to hear about just being a good soldier. You could have said no to being Captain America because you're not a super soldier, or at least you weren't then. You know, like the whole thing was weird, right? But Crosshair is so focused on trying to be a good soldier instead of trying to be a good man, which is why I think him and John Walker should have been more focused on being a good man instead of being a good soldier. It's just, you have to live with yourself. You have to make calls, make decisions, and decide. And sometimes, if you have some guts, it might come at the expense of your comfort. You might be court-martialed, you might have to go on the run sometimes, or whatever the hell the consequences may be. But that's something that you have to deal with when you get into that type of business, right? Right. I mean, when you're at the mercy of the orders of other people, like Cap said in some of the movies, people have agendas in the Avengers movies. People have agendas. Agendas change. And anybody can give whatever order who's in power that may be right, may not be right, and you have to make a decision on whether you want to follow it. And that just is what it is. Crosshair wanted to follow the order and kill the Jedi and all that shit, and Hunter was not with it. And I'm with Hunter, of course. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, not just because I love Jedi, and Jedi are dope as fuck, but just think about it on its face, on its surface. You just received this random order out of nowhere saying to kill the Jedi, and the Jedi have been your commanders and allies all this time. Now, I need some answers first, right? Because Hunter, he wasn't even like, fuck this order. We're not going to do anything they say just because we like Jedi. He was like, hold on until we know more. We need to know more. Something's wrong. Something feels off. So we need to get back to the crib and see what everybody's talking about and what people are saying so we can figure out how we want to proceed. I mean, that's reasonable to me. You know what I'm saying? That's reasonable as hell. So you get back and you meet this Omega, this child. She runs up on you. Hey, you're back. You're like, who the fuck are you? How does an Omega know them, right? Why is she so set on being with them? Came to the mess hall, ate lunch with them, wanted to leave with them when they were leaving. In episode 2, Omega came and broke, I don't want to say broke a rule. It wasn't really a rule, but she deviated from Hunter's plan to send her off with Cut, so she can have a family. So then she risked her life and all that, trying to make her way back to Clone Force 99 so she can go with them. She's like, I want to be with y'all. Why are you so dead set? You just met them. You don't know them like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it programming? Was she actually built and designed to spy on them or something like that? Like, I don't get, if you've listened to the podcast, I'm not really trusting of people. Even though she's a kid, she's also a clone. She was programmed, so she could not know that she's, just programmed to do these things that can be in a subconscious programming. Then maybe in her form of mind, she actually does feel just a connection with them, but when the time comes, she's going to, lead somebody to them or pass the information along. I don't fully know yet, and I'm keeping an eye. I'm keeping an eye out on this. It's very interesting. I also wonder when we're going to see Caleb again. That'll be interesting to see too, and what he's been doing, how he's been surviving since Hunter did let him get away early on. I'm glad he did. Fucking Crosshair trying to pop him. I'm sitting here trying to talk to him, telling him he can trust me, and then you're going to shoot at him while he's in the tree. I hate you. I hate you so much, Crosshair. I'm glad that they got that man now. Then he was so ready to kill all those innocent people in that camp that they found when they sent him off to complete the mission. But they act like there was these rebel forces just, causing all these problems on the surface of the planet. And they go down there and you see a whole bunch of refugees, women, children, and come on, man, Republic fighters, bruh. Bro, come on. Crosshair was like, we need to complete the mission. I will fuck you up. And they try to ride for that man until they couldn't anymore. And then, of course, he gets snatched up. They turn that inhibitor chip on 10. And there's just no going back after that. He's done with it. He's gone. At least for now, unless you can get to him and remove the inhibitor chip. It sounds like when they realize that it is a chip and not just some sort of direct program directly into their heads, their mainframe, their whatever, excuse me, is inside of them. They said they realized, excuse me, when they realized it was a chip, it seems like an idea bubble, you know what I'm saying, just kind of popped up, and maybe they're going to try to remove the inhibitor chip of some clones that they want on their side, because they might need a little extra help for whatever their mission is going to be in the long run. That's got to be more than just survival. So it'll be interesting to see how that transpires and what goes down. But the show so far is interesting. Like I said, the first one was amazing. The second episode was slightly less so, but just because it was a little slower. But I'm overall fine with that. It's really not a slight at all. I think it's interesting to build the backstory for the characters, like pretty much all shows and movies should do. At least most of them, right? You have something like, no, I was gonna say Mortal Kombat. Did y'all see the Mortal Kombat movie? The Mortal Kombat movie is one that could have been better. The action scenes were amazing, but the storyline still needs some work if you care about that, right? Are you trying to make a comprehensive story, or are you really just trying to give us enough to get to the fighting and the action scenes and shit like that responsibly? If you're really trying to make a masterpiece, then you should have put a little bit more into the story and development of some of the other characters and telling us a little bit more about them and their backgrounds. And give me a different Liu Kang. I'm not a big fan of that Liu Kang. He seems a little slight. The Liu Kang original was, and you see him in the game, you see him in the original movie. He looks like a problem, a man. You know what I'm saying? This dude looked like a boy. I'm like, I wasn't a fan of the Liu Kang. I was mad that they killed Kung Lao again, but at least we got to see him do something, a few things before they offed him. The way that he showed up, if you saw the movie, the way that he showed up in the first place with the hat appearing and all that shit. If you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and turn the podcast off now, because we're going to do some spoilers here. The boy popped up out of the ground. I almost lost my shit because it was so dope to me to see him appear like that and be in it. The move with the flying thing where he called the hat and it made it a buzzsaw on the ground, hit the fatality. I loved it. It was great. Kung Lao was easily my favorite fighter. And then they offed him, you know what I'm saying? I even liked how he was talking shit to Kano. That was great. That was a great part of it. Kano did a good job with his lines, and he helped carry the scenes that he was in for the intrigue, because he was funny and brash, and he was Kano, like Kano was supposed to be, an asshole. And he was perfectly Kano in that regard to me. Now, Sonya, she could fight. I like her moves. The actress, I don't know. Maybe we just needed more. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we just needed more. Give her really a chance to shine through. Don't really care for the main character guy. Wish they would have done something else with him. If they would have made him turn into a scorpion of this age, a new scorpion, that'd have been better. I'm not sure what the fuck this new guy is, his powers. They have way too many characters for you to bring along and make the main character this new guy with these new random powers that I'm still not really sure what he absorbs energy. He can take blows and absorb them and then manifest it in different ways, like with a strong punch or the creation of weapons. Well, it's kind of weird. I don't like the look either, the armor and all that came over his body. That wasn't cool to me. You know, it was just kind of weird. Not a fan. Um, like I said, if they would have made him like another Scorpion, then that would have been way better. You have enough characters, bro. Use some of those characters. We had a mention of Bo Show. Where you at? Let me see Bo Show. I love that we saw Cabal. Cabal was always one of my favorite characters growing up because I was always enamored with speed. You know, the Flash was also one of my favorite characters in DC. You know, like people who are really, really fucking fast. I've always loved that. I always wanted to run and always wanted to race my brothers when I was a kid, and it was legit. It was dope. I loved it. So when he started running around and doing this thing, I was happy as hell. I also thought it was fucked up that when they sent the main character back home because he was having trouble pulling his power out, I thought it was fucked up that the person that Shang Tsung sent after him was Goro, Prince Goro. Like, not that I feel like it'd have been that great with sending anybody else, but send like Melina or something. That's you got to send Goro, bruh. That was fucked up to me. I don't know how y'all felt about that, but he came out of it. I guess it was what he needed to, pull that power out, that weird ass power, and he survived. So shout out to him. I want to know what y'all thought about Mortal Kombat as well as the first couple of episodes of Bad Batch. So let me know. Did you like the actor playing Shang Tsung? Did you like his role as Shang Tsung? And Raiden's? Did you like the guy who played Raiden? My brother didn't. My older brother didn't like the Raiden. He wanted something that felt a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it because my brother's kind of weird, right? I like the eye effect that they did with Raiden. My brother didn't like that. The hair. I don't know if that bothered me or not. If it in the original one he had this long hair. I don't know that I really care about that, but because there's going to be a different spin. It's different people, and I'm always fine with some changes. Creative direction for a new cast and crew and all that shit. Do what you feel, cast who you like, as long as it's good. That's all I care about. I don't care about sticking to what was done in the past necessarily. I don't care if you gave us a completely new storyline that we've never heard of before and couldn't envision. That doesn't matter to me. I'm not a purist in that way when it comes to any books, movies, video games, and with the remakes into shows. And I don't care about sticking to the original source material. What I care about is, can you take it and make it good and entertaining? That's all I care about. And I feel like that's all anyone should care about, right? For you to try to dictate what a director or whatever should put on screen because that's what you read in the book. That's how it was in the book. Well, you read the book, so you got that already, right? And I understand the desire sometimes to see the adaptation from book to film and see it actually play out. But no. What really matters is it good? Excuse me, because if they just do what they did in the book, then you already know the whole story. It takes something. Well, I feel like it should take away something. I want to be surprised and shocked and see the new things and creativity that people put forth in their work. And put your own stamp on the masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? Make it a masterpiece and put your own stamp on it. I'm good with that. Anyway, I got off on a little tangent there. I do that. Y'all know I'll be a little all over the place sometimes, but it's a bit of a shorter one today, about 25 minutes or so. I hope y'all enjoyed the pod today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share with a friend, and holla at your boy. You know where to find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at JaLilWill. Find me on Twitch. I'm going to be doing a little bit more streaming. Find me on Twitch at The Last Episode Podcast. And holla at your boy. Let me know what you think about The Bad Batch, what you think about Mortal Kombat. And if you have any thoughts on that argument I was having with the Twitter people on John Walker and his role and the villainy of it and, all that. Like I said, let me say again. I said, if anything. I didn't necessarily call him a villain. I said, if anything, he's a villain. That doesn't necessarily mean that I think he is a villain. Okay, so words matter. Nuance matters. Remember, we've talked about that before as well. Nuance matters. Anyway, holla at your boy. I've told you when. I've told you where. And we'll be back again next week with another episode of Bad Batch dropping. So we'll talk about that as well and whatever else we want to talk about. And you know how we do.
Sun's getting real low.
I'm out.